Hodge.
Welcome to the inevitable return to butter. I'm your host, Critical, and my co-host,
Gweezy Butter. And today let's talk about I got a bunch of let's talk solitary. Solitary is like, what is solitary? Solitary is kind of like when you're alone, ain't it? Ain't they kind of like when you're alone or something? Like in solitude, is solitude a real word?
Yeah, solitude.
Right, solitude and solitary is almost the same thing, correct?
Well, pretty much, it's close, but solitude is more like peace. Being alone, but it's peace. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You want solitude. You want peace. You don't want no disturbances around and things of that nature. But it's just like solitary, though. Most people, when they look at solitary, they think about the game. You know what I'm saying? The solitary game.
Right.
But it's also just a person who do things alone. Solitary, like a recluse or a hermit.
Right.
They don't necessarily like to be around a lot of people, or they like to do things by themselves. A person who
is it like a solitude? Is like a solitary mindset?
Yeah, solitary mindset.
To where you can't big yourself up enough to deal with others or deal with the situation at hand, or am I correct or wrong?
It's basically being capable of doing it on your own, living or going along without companions. You don't necessarily need nobody. Like they say, people always say, I'm a loner. Basically they saying they're a solitary person. A person who want to be by himself. Don't need nobody around in order to do it. He can be happy by himself. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Solitary. So you can it's a good and a bad thing.
Yes.
Because you can be solitary too much, and then you can probably overthink things and then miss things. And then I think if you, am I saying it right now? I think if you, I think it's right. What I say is good it's good and bad, because you can be in solitary mind state to where like you probably can't get up out of that situation, to where like you might end up thinking something negative. What do you think about that? Am I right or wrong, or what?
Oh yeah, you can think of negative stuff. Stressed out, and you want to be by yourself. You want to be in solitary. Now, the bad one is solitary confinement.
That's kind of like what happens when you in the penitentiary. Kids, I encourage you not to do nothing wrong to go, but when you're in the penitentiary or you're in jail and you do something wrong, they kind of like put you in solitary confinement. Hold on, but it's that's kind of like the hole, correct?
Yes, exactly. That's what it is, the hole. But it's called solitary confinement because they're confining you by yourself, alone, with nobody else. You apparently you have some issues with being with others. Whether it be them disturbing you or you disturbing them. Because some people go to what they call check-in. They want to get away from people. They want to get away from the mess or whatever's going on.
Right.
Solitude is a good thing. It's like serenity. I know the serenity is a more popular word, but it's similar. Serenity is a peace. Serene. Just like being in solitary confinement or being, solitary. You're by yourself. You don't have these other outside influences or anything, to deal with.
Yeah, we outside with it, man. We outside with it. The birds, the bees, the flowers, the trees. Yes, sir. Keep going.
Yeah, you gonna hear all the animals, man. I love my birds. They've been with us since we started, and they still with us. You know, we've had to go in a few times because of the weather. You know how the weather changes on us, but the weather is coming back to be decent again. So we'll be outside again more often.
Nice.
It's nice outside. Beautiful.
Yeah, man, but he not in right now. We're not in solitary confinement. We're outside with it. You know what I'm saying? Not having a solitary mindset of being away, being a loner, being a person that don't feel like they need nobody. I mean, it's a lot of people that don't feel like they need nobody, but it's a lot of people that need somebody, because I feel like that's when you snap. That's when you lose it, when you go crazy, when you ain't talking your problems out. Some people can survive for a long time that way, but they be trapped inside of their mind, solitary confinement.
Yeah, I was recently in solitary confinement. A lot of people can't deal with that, because being by yourself and just your thoughts, it could drive an individual crazy.
Right.
They want to. You have those extrovert type people who need to have someone else around or outside of themselves to make them happy, or they don't feel complete, or they just, you know, they can't stand being alone. But then you have those who love it, and they will tell you in a minute, I'm a loner. I don't travel in no groups. You see me, I'm by myself all the time.
I don't mess with nobody.
I'm solitary. I'm single.
Mm-hmm. Solo bolo, singled out.
Yeah, and that's good. A lot of times, however, no man is an island by himself.
F people free, F girl free, F all free. Ain't that what was called? Say she F dude free, F girl free, F everybody free. That's a solitary mind state right there. Ain't you think so?
That's what it is. Solitary mind state.
You say you don't need nothing, nobody be around. No, I don't trust nobody. Like a Boosie song. I don't trust nobody. I trust nobody. Trust nobody. Nobody.
And usually that is out of frustration.
Yeah. I mean, you know, certain situations put people into the mind state to where they feel like they can't trust nobody. I was one of those people too. You know what I'm saying? I still don't trust a lot of people, but I'm still working on that. But I give it the benefit of the doubt, and I just stay prayed up, and I keep the faith, and I go off of my energy. I'm an energy person, and what I learned to study is my energy. And I learned to, as I gotten older, I realized that energy is real and you got to pay attention to it. So like I live off the energy code. It's better than anything, man, because I can feel it before it comes.
Exactly. Excuse me. Yeah, and see, that's the thing about it being like, the thing about being solitary. You could never really be solitary because energy is all around us. Energy, like you're saying, you're an energy person. Everything is energy. And it's connected. Whether you want to be connected or not, it interferes. Right. So even in your solitary confinement, even in your solitude, you're still connected to other energy moving particles that we can't see with the naked eye.
You know what I'm saying?
Like I was saying, man, you know, it's a difference between solitary and solitude and loneliness, because solitude is when another is when you retreat to yourself, you know, you take pleasure in your own company. When we're solitary, we reach into our own self, and we can think freely. We can be honest as we like. It's only when we cut off from all other distractions and other people that we have the time to meditate on life and to discover great things. So that solitude and being solitary is pretty much a must for a person who creates, a person who is a leader, or a person who's a mover and shaker. You know, like we do things, we create things, we implement things. And the only way that we're capable of doing that is we got to have some solitude. We got to have time by ourselves to be able to articulate what it is that we want to do, how we come up with our ideas. Sometimes ideas come along with other people, but generally those are influenced by other people.
Yeah, but you can also, but also having solitary is good because, you know, it can help build the mental strength. You know what I'm saying? You know, the ability to tolerate being alone. Time has, you know, increased better. You know what I'm saying? Life satisfaction and improved the stress management. You know what I'm saying? People who enjoy a long time experience less depression. And you can totally live a long time. Some studies say you can totally live alone safely without feeling alone in the world. You know what I'm saying? As a person that lives a solitary lifestyle.
Yeah.
But, you know, just being alone sometimes, like how you were saying about you know, that's when you come up with the best ideas, the good ideas. Because, I mean, I really like to record and stuff alone. I really don't like a lot of people in the room.
Right. Because oftentimes when we have others involved, then it's influenced by them. Sometimes it will throw you all the way off your
A game.
Exactly, because there's a different motive opposed to what you are actually doing. Whatever they're seeking to get out of it or put in it or influence will kind of taint it. Whereas when you are left to your own thoughts and your own creativity and imagination, then it's going to be pure. It's going to be your original creation, opposed to the influence and the interference and distractions from others and other things. You ever feel like you were trying to work on something and everybody keeps coming to you with this, that, and the other? Almost like when you said all these people called at the same time.
Yeah.
You can't talk to all of them at the same time. You can only talk to one of them with the apparatus we're using. So it's kind of, you got to single it out. You got to get rid of some of the distractions. Same thing with your creativity. You have to get rid of some of the distractions because there's too many distractions going on, and it hinders our creativity.
That's facts.
Man, just chill out with that for a while. Get back with me later. You know, I need to take this. I need to do this alone. Even when you go into the spiritual and the religious aspects of building character and being a leader, all those great prophets and seers and apostles and people who led those groups, they all went into their own solitary or into solitude. They went and prayed. They went in the cave. You know, Moses went in the cave. Jesus went to the garden by himself. He left his disciples and stuff in certain positions and went on further by himself. They have to go into solitude. You got to go into a solitary situation in order to really reap the benefits of what you're doing.
Right.
Then you can share it with somebody else.
Right.
Yeah.
That's fine.
So, like, self-preservation is the first law of nature. You know, they say you got to take care of self first, and you can't do that with somebody else. You have to do that on your own, by yourself, singular.
Right.
Take care of yourself.
Solitary.
Then, yeah, it's a solitary function.
Yeah.
Take care of yourself. Now, being lonely is something totally different. That's when you feel like you're empty, you know, something, you desire something that's absent. And you begin to feel unsatisfied, feel isolated, in need, or abandoned, or with no one to help you, things of that nature. That's loneliness. That's not solitude.
Right.
Yeah.
That's facts. That's lonely. It's a difference. Yeah, man. This topic is it's pretty. It ain't an easy topic, you know, but
yeah, because I mean, you have all those philosophers and famous philosophers who they have big discourse about the difference between it.
Yeah, but I think a solitary mind state is okay sometimes, and sometimes I think it's dangerous. Sometimes I think it's good, sometimes I think it's dangerous. Same thing I just said, but yeah, that's why I feel about it, and and all these other theories, I'm kind of lost with it right now, man. I don't know, man.
Well,
my mind is going into a solitary mind state right now. Yeah, man. So what do you think about this, Unc?
Well, I think we go into a solitary lifestyle, man, for different reasons. And whatever the reason may be, for one, it's not always the same for the other. Like you said, some is good and some is not.
But I heard, but they said that sometimes introverts have a high IQ. Is that true? You think that's true?
Well, I never really studied whether their IQ was. I never even paid attention to the IQ of introvert versus extrovert. I know introverts are more creative than extroverts because they depend more on their imagination themselves. The joy and everything comes from within. But the extrovert generally is seeking from outwardly. And I think that's more detrimental to a person, because if you're seeking something outside of yourself, we're going to be let down more than we would if we're looking within. If you are searching outwardly for whatever you need, we tend to be let down more than we would if we're looking inside, to bring it from inside out, such as happiness, such as anything that we want to create. If I have to look for something outside of myself to make me happy, then I'm going to be let down half the time, because outside influence is not going to always make me happy.
Right, and avoid comparing yourself to others.
Exactly. And that's generally what happens. That's generally what happens when you're seeking outside of yourself, because you see someone else and you say, "Well, I want that," opposed to defining what it is that you desire for yourself personally, not based upon what and how someone else measures.
Yeah, like you spending time with nature.
Right.
Like you doing right now.
Right, because spending time with nature, nobody's out here. None of these animals, none of what's in this verse out here in nature is competing against no one. Everything is just being what they are, naturally, without the opinions, without the worry. When the bird twerk, the bird is tweeting without worried about being politically correct about his tweet. You know what I'm saying? He's not. If you heard his whistle, his tweet, and you didn't like it, so what?
Right. But if you know somebody in a solitary mind state, that likes to be alone and anything, you know what I'm saying, and they're your people or something, I just give them a call, let them know, always let them know that you're available, you know what I'm saying, show them love, you know what I'm saying, just let them know that you're available, you know what I'm saying, they can call, visit, email them, whatever, you know what I'm saying, like they picture, let them know, you know what I'm saying, just let them know that you're available if you know somebody who's going through something like that, though. It's good and bad, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like you said, it's good or bad. It could be for the wrong reasons. It could be for good reasons. We don't know until we inquire. But we don't pry too much. Some people are just private people. You notice how some major famous people or private people, you don't hear all they mess all over the news and in the media all the time. The average individual don't know if they had a child, if they were married, anything going on. They don't know because they're a solitary type person. You know, they keep their business out of the street. They got a lot of stuff about, usually when you look up the definitions or something like that with these Googles and all that, mostly they're talking about solitary confinement inside of a jail or a prison, not one who chooses to be there on his own. But we know, like I said, a lot of the greats, they had to go into solitude. They had to go into seclusion or into the cave or into the death chamber or the mystery school or whichever one you want to call it. They have to go there to be able to focus upon self, the single principle of self, and then come from within and bring out. Because what we think, we manifest. And what we bring in, we internalize. That's what goes out. Garbage in, garbage out.
Yeah, facts. Y'all need to know that solitary is an adjective. He took a solitary walk on the beach. Just gave it to you in a sentence. Yeah, keep going.
Yeah. And that's a good thing. And that is therapeutic. Not necessarily a hindrance. And see, the crazy part about it is when you're dealing with those prisons and jails and stuff like that, oftentimes they think that putting you in a solitary confinement or situation is a punishment for one. However, an individual like me, actually it is better. Because now I don't have to deal with all the other madness. I can just deal with me. Okay, in my immediate environment. Because when you add all the other stuff in, you got other people's problems and other situations, and the dynamics change. So it's on a personal, it's a personal level for each individual. They deal with it differently.
What is a solitary behavior? For the purpose of the thesis, a solitary person is one who routinely prefers to spend his or her time alone rather than the company of others, and usually pursues activities independently rather than being accompanied by other people. What do you think about that?
Right. I mean, that's it.
There it is.
That's me. I deal with people because we have to deal with people. But I'd rather do what I need to do alone without having to deal with the outside influences or distractions. Because majority of it is distractions. People will come and they will claim that they really have the best intentions and they're with you, they're riding with you, but at the same time, their motives is to distract you from what you're doing and focus your attention upon them or whichever direction they want to go in. So that solitude, being a solitary person, is good for an individual who's trying to create, trying to do something, trying to build something from the beginning. Now, you're going to need some help somewhere along the line. However, you keep the boundaries on that help. What you allow individuals to bring to the table if they have anything to bring to the table.
Right. Well, is solitary the same as lonely?
No.
Right, because BigThing.com said that to be lonely then is to desire an absence want, and it feels an emptiness that remains unsatisfied, to feel isolated, in need, or abandoned, but with no one to help. Yet solitude is another thing altogether. To be solitary is to retreat into yourself and take great pleasure in your own company.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier.
Yeah,
You know,
what you said earlier.
and that's it. I mean, that's me in a nutshell. Now, don't get me wrong. I like company periodically, but when I really need to get something done, it's usually a solitary thing. It's almost like that statement, that cliche statement. They say, if you want something done right, you got to do it yourself. And that's not always, but majority of the time. I'll say 85% of the time, if you want something done the way you want it done, you have to do it. Because if you give the task to someone else or depend on someone else to do it, chances are they're going to change something or they're not going to do it.
That's facts. You're right. Are they not gonna do it? Go ahead, keep going.
Yeah, when I'll give you a prime example how the first nonprofit organization that I ended up being involved in was called Musicians for Survival in Berkeley, Oakland, San Francisco Bay Area.
You should say this story, but yeah, go ahead.
Say what?
I say you should save that story, but go ahead.
Well, I'm not going to go into the whole story of it, but the gist of it is, I was told about the program by another individual, and I used to go to the meetings with him. But he was given instructions on what to do each day. Yet he would take them instructions and he'll go and just set them aside and spend his day doing what he wanted to do. He never would do it. Yet he wanted the organization to be prosperous. He wanted the organization to take off. But he just wouldn't do what the consultant was instructing him to do.
Yeah. I can relate to some stuff.
Yeah, and that's where you find yourself saying, well, hey, it's better if I just do it myself, because I can't depend on no one else. So it has to be a solitary action done by self, alone. Yeah. And that's not being lonely. That's not desiring nobody else. That's just you.
A lot of time people get stuff started alone, and then it turned to a branch. I mean, the root turned to a stump, and the stump turned to some branches, and the branch turned to some leaves. Man, it's like a tree effect. But yeah, man, we almost going into the 30-minute slot, man. You giving what you got. Been a lot of knowledge going on for this solitary solitude mindset, thoughts, and all of this, man. I got confused for a minute there. You know what I'm saying? Why it was going on. So, is there anything else you want to say, man, to make this day? 'Cause we almost out of here.
Well, I'd say, probably what you need to do is just get a little solitude.
Yeah, facts, man. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm about to do a little, cause man, my brain been going, cause we got the other podcasts and all that stuff, so my brain been going. So yeah, it's 2:43, 44, 45, man. What's the name of this podcast, man?
This is the Inevitable Return to Butter.
Yeah, we out.
Peace.
Peace.
Inevitable Return to
Butter.